Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, US President Donald Trump, that is to say, he challenges Russia, he challenges China, and he proceeds in this Friday, October 24th, 2025, he proceeds to a massive deployment of its army side of the Venezuelan coast. You know, now Venezuela becomes the new theater of operations since the case of Ukraine is beginning to be like this. That is, for Ukraine, either we go straight into the streets from hell or we go straight there in the streets of paradise. That is to say, either we make the situation worse or we returns to peace. But still, it is that America wants to control the largest oil reserve in the world, which happens to be the reserves of the Vene. Now, in Venezuela, Russia is already entered the dance. China also is in the dance. Iran is in dance. America does not want to let it be. In the name of a so-called fight against drug trafficking, the drug trafficking on this Friday, Donald Trump has just carried out another type of deployment massive, truly unprecedented. And this deployment, Russia is observing in as a strategic partner of the Venezuela. Iran is in the process to observe and China is also in watching. The Venezuelan president, by the way, Nicolas Maduro, also had to pose very strong acts. But I tell you that in a short time, you will see what will happen on the side of the Venezuela. And here again, it is necessary remember, these are the great powers who come into conflict on the side of the Venezuela. So, as part of this conference, Geopolitics, this is current news that we are going to talk about. But before continue, thank you for sharing the conference to the maximum. Put a lot likes, lots of likes. Let especially an opinion in the comments. There you go. And then, if it's your first time to see my video, to come across my video conference, please click on the subscribe button. Subscribe. This allows you to never miss the news again. Global. So please share the video. We must share it as much as possible. Okay. So what we have to say is that obviously it is a high deployment intensity, a high intensity deployment in the Caribbean seas. In the Sea Caribbean, Washington is in the process of reposition its naval power, and so there are only helicopters like this. You can see here in image extremely dangerous helicopters that America, that is to say, these are the biggest naval forces that have America that has just been deployed. So these are heavy CH helicopters 53E, which we call Super Stallion of the US Marine Corps. So you already understand the strategic importance of these helicopters. These are helicopters heavy, the latest helicopters of the US Navy who were deployed and who were seen in the process to carry out operational flights from the US amphibious assault ship Iwo Jima. So there is a big warship which is already in the Caribbean Sea, and then it is on this warship that the helicopters are flying. They come, they land, and then they fly. They are in the process of simulate a large-scale attack against a neighboring country. So the attack that they will perpetrate against the Venezuela is this attack. They are doing his rehearsal. Yesterday, it was fighter jets, American bombers. That today, they are big helicopters. I tell you, big ones, extremely heavy helicopters. Helicopters that are in the very heart of the combat system of the US Navy. Here from the US Navy Army, the American Mother Army. So these helicopters carry out flights from the amphibious ship. It's a big one ship called USS Io Juma LHD-7. So where does the operation take place? The operation takes place in the sea, in the Caribbean Sea, in a highly strategic region between the coasts of Venezuela, Cuba, and Colombia. So it's in the center there. They are doing so for the moment, they are not saying anything in Venezuela, but Venezuela is not going sit down. Venezuela is not going tonight. Look at them. Venezuela immediately understood that what is happening there is against them, obviously, since they started the first exercises and then the Venezuela came out of his reserve. So very angry, Donald Trump ordered the continuity of exercises. Another form of exercise which would be likely to really deter Venezuela. But what is happening is that Venezuela is sold out. The president Venezuelan is standing and he is he is strong support from Russia since they signed a cooperation agreement military, and Russia has delivered so much of weapons in Venezuela that you cannot not imagine. The truth is that it is because of the Venezuelan oil, the argument according to which it is the fight against drug trafficking. We don't say no that there is no drug trafficking, but the real cause is that. So America is not going give up, because what is that does? The biggest problem with America is that it is to see his influence, lose his influence in this part of Latin America, since the United States is losing hand while Russia, Iran, and China strengthen their friendship. Cooperation, whether on the level military, whether on the level energetic with Venezuela, and that it's on the American continent. Donald Trump is not ready to accept it, not at all. But on the contrary, as and when as Donald Trump is in the process of trying to fight against this, he is in train of favoring to accelerate the fact that Venezuela is escaping control and American influence. So it must be said that Donald Trump involved elite unit of the US Army. The unit who is involved is the Marine Medium Tiltrotor Squadron 232. So it's an elite American unit, which is attached to the 22nd Unit Marine Expeditionary. That means it's really a unit extremely powerful. So the goal is very clear. The goal is to show the ability American immediate projection at a few kilometers from the water's Venezuelan women. This is to say that America is ready for anything. It is a strong signal that has been sent, and to Venezuela and all its allies. And it must be said that this unit is a mobile intervention power which is ready to strike. It is an intervention power mobile that is ready to strike. The USSO Jima amphibious helicopter carrier is capable of carrying more than 1,800 Marines, over 1,800 Marines, I was going to say armored vehicles and aircraft vertical takeoff planes. So the CH-5E Super Stallion, which are helicopters heavy, can lift 16 tons of equipment or light armor used for assault swords in the field hostile. It must be said clearly that Donald Trump has raised a whole arsenal really powerful to go and drop them off in the Caribbean waters to show to Russia's allies than to allies from Venezuela that America is on his territory and no one can do anything against America. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will come back to this news. We will continue to follow it.